Hello, welcome to episode 1 of the Dietless Dieting podcast. I am the creator and the host, Pamela Pedrick, and I am a holistic nurse health coach. And I have over 20 years of experience in this healing work. And I truly believe that it is healing because we heal the body not only physically, but often emotionally, spiritually, and mentally all at the same time, oftentimes as well. So busy women come to me when they are ready to ditch the yo-yo dieting and they want holistic strategies that work for their own body and they want to lose weight now and get fit now instead of later. And when they come to me, we work together to get their bodies to be fat burning machines, to be fit and healthy, and they feel light and free. I help them to break the chains of dieting and emotional eating so they can have the freedom that they have been so desperately trying to get. So why dietless dieting? This initial episode is just simply to bring to you why this podcast, why am I doing this now, what's going on. I've been in this work for over 20 years. I have experience and have my master's in counseling, so I worked at a counseling center for quite some time. Then I got my nursing license. I went into nursing because I felt like anytime we were working with something emotional or mental, there was always a physical component. So I wanted to bring the two together, hence why I went to nursing school. And I worked in a very busy pediatric emergency room for 8 years. And I saw the kids coming in at 3, 4 years old and they're overweight and most of them obese, already aged as 3 and 4. And then when you look at the parents, typically mom would bring them in, but oftentimes grandma as well, primary caregiver, or just watching, little kiddos during the day, and they too were struggling. And so it really came to be an impact on me because when we're educating parents on like healthy meals, because we need to rest the belly because kiddo's been either constipated or had some vomiting, so we need some bland but healthy food choices. And when they couldn't even tell me what that was, I knew we had a problem in our country. And in fact, obesity and weight, type 2 diabetes is on the rise in our pediatric populations. So I thought if we can get mom and help her, then we would be so much more ahead of the ball game, so to speak. So part of this was also my own personal journey because in 2013, I was at my highest weight ever, working in a very busy emergency room. I was burnt out. I had insomnia and I hated my body, to be honest. I hated my body. And so had gone from diet to diet to diet. I actually first started my really big official DIET back in my junior year of college. I will be 50 in January. Yes, this is what 50 looks like. And so my journey started my junior year in college because my freshman year, instead of gaining the freshman 15, I gained 25 pounds. I really did it, 25 pounds. And so my junior year, I'm like, okay, my pants are barely fitting. I felt I needed to lose weight. So what did you do back in the day, which is still very loud in the dieting industry even to this day, is you eat less and you move more. But what does that look like? It looks like counting calories, eating low fat and fat-free foods. It looks like eating smaller portions, but a lot of it mostly catered around to all the diet type foods, which had artificial sugars in it. Because when they take out, or more sugar, because when they take out fat from something that naturally has fat, food has flavor because of fat. So when they take the fat out, it loses its flavor, and the food industry knows that, hey, bottom line, money's going to be impacted. They're not going to make as much money. And so they add sugar. They take out the fat and they add more sugar, which is no wonder that type 2 diabetes has significantly increased, insulin resistance, are these health issues. Chronic disease is at an all-time high. Autoimmune is at an all-time high. So why is it that in the US, a country where we have access, most people have access to, we have such freedom here, why is it that we're the poorest health when we have the benefits compared to those who live in other countries? Why? So my years of struggle, because I started my diet in 2013, I lost weight, but that also started my increase in my migraines and my headaches. They were getting worse and more frequent. Fast forward to now, 2018, 20, no, that was, well, it was 2013. Excuse me. Fast forward to 2013, because I was in junior year of college way before then. Fast forward to 2013, I'm like, I need to get serious about this. I need to get serious. So I actually became part of a program that was really focused on clean eating and clean foods. And yeah, moving, but it was not counting calories. It was also part of detoxing, cleaning your body out of toxins and chemicals. And I was very toxic. So when I started to incorporate monthly cleanses, which was, helped to get the toxins out of my body was able to easily release weight. And I dropped like 20 pounds. I was at my lowest weight ever. But one thing about any program is if we don't deal with this is not going to stay. We're going to go back to old patterns of programming. So 2013, lowest weight ever, right? But I was still very critical of my body. Oh, I need to work my butt, my hips. Like I was very critical. But yet I was in a bikini for the first time since I was like little, elementary school. Felt great, strutting my stuff, but I was still very critical of my body and my self-esteem was an all-time low. And so fast forward now, I have gained the weight back, the 20 pounds that I had gained, and even more fat on my body. I am now a binge eater, but I didn't acknowledge it because I only did it on the weekends. So and my excuses or my justification was it was working in ER. It's been a very stressful week. It's been a very stressful day. So I'd get binge food Thursday, Friday night, depending on if I worked Thursday or Friday, and I would binge all weekend long. But I had an unwritten rule that took me some years to actually acknowledge that that's what I was doing, to have it all eaten up by Monday, because I didn't want to feel like crap during the work week. So I knew intrinsically what that food was doing to my body. But see, at this point, highest weight, migraines were out of control. I was losing TIME. I was losing time. Although I gotta say I was very blessed because I didn't have bad migraines. If I could at least get to bed and sleep for about 6 hours, I could pretty much recover and be okay the next day. So if you're a migraine sufferer, you lose time. And see, the only medication at the time that worked for me, my insurance would not cover it. Nope, they would give me the first supply and then, oh no, your insurance won't cover that, but it'll cover this, which was a medication that did not work for me. I mean, this medication took away all of my symptoms. Within 30 to 60 minutes, I was like back to 100% normal, what was normal for me at that time. So I'm like, I don't want to waste my money because I know I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to take it. So it got to the point where my migraines were so bad, I was actually throwing up with them. And then what the medication that I was on the time, Zofran, wasn't strong enough, so I had to get a stronger anti-emetic or for vomiting. So I knew something was going on in my body. Something was going on. Everything was escalating. I had bad GERD. I was having palpitations, but they were attributing that to GERD. My migraines out of control. But see, Western medicine, I can speak to it because I've been in it as a nurse. They looked at me as organs. They didn't see the whole me with all of my symptoms. They literally looked at me with organs. Your migraine's out of control. Go see your neurologist. Okay, everything looks good. Palpitations, go see a cardiologist. Okay, yeah, benign, pretty benign. Maybe it's your GERD, this exacerbation, irritating the lining of your heart muscle. Increase your proton pump inhibitor, your PPI. So I was on, I had to actually start on Protonix and I went to omeprazole. And I'm like, 40 milligrams twice a day, increase it twice a day. You know what happens when you have no stomach acid? So now my gut's jacked up. Plus there's the correlation between bone loss with any proton pump inhibitor. But I had to because if I got myself off of it by day 3, my GERD was so bad. I literally was vomiting with it. That's how bad it was. So I went to my went to my gastroenterologist. Okay, yeah, you got bad GERD, just to make sure there wasn't anything else going on. So I literally was going from specialist to specialist to specialist. Had EKGs done, all of this. But they never saw me as a whole person. But I was struggling. I was struggling. So I finally in 2018, remember 2013 at my lowest weight ever. 2018, I said, I'm going to do things differently this time. Don't tell me about these shakes and these pills and these cleanses just yet. I literally, in fact, it was 2018, January of 2018, where I had gone binged all holiday long. My birthday's in January, so I literally binged all holiday long. Because you never say no to the Christmas cookies and the pies and all this. But this time I'm a sugar addict. I'm literally addicted to sugar. In fact, at one point prior to 2018, I tried to go cold turkey and went vegan and ate mostly raw, 80% raw, 20% cooked. And I detoxed like a mother. I was so sick because I was a sugar addict, and it literally was, I was detoxing like a drug addict for a week. Yeah, it wasn't fun. So I don't recommend cold turkey off of sugar, just FYI, just because I know experience that I had. So 2018, I'm like, had my birthday is January 4th, so I binged all weekend long, all holiday long, from Halloween all the way to New Year's. And of course, because my birthday's on the 4th, I never started any New Year's resolution the first week of January. It was always the Monday after my birthday. And if my birthday was on a weekend, it was probably the following Monday, like a week after that, right? So I had gone with family and friends to one of those hibachi restaurants, right? They cook it right in front of you. And ate really well, and I had a little bit of dessert there. We had my red velvet cake. Red velvet cake's my favorite, and not everyone likes it, so I usually end up with a good, like the rest of it. My niece is the only other one who, like, we both love red velvet cake, so sent her home with some, and I had the rest of the birthday cake. So I come home. I'm single. I come home and I proceeded to sit down on my green couch. My black cat Judah was on one side, my gray tabby cat Zacchaeus on the other side of me on the couch. And I'm eating my birthday cake, and I proceed to watch a romantic comedy that I'd seen hundreds of times because at the time it was my all-time favorite movie. But see, I didn't just have one slice of birthday cake on my lap. I didn't have two. I had the whole rest of the birthday cake on my lap, fork in hand, stuffing my face. At this time, I was full. I was more than full, but I proceeded to eat. And I'm watching this romantic comedy, and the main character is overweight. She's trying to get her life sorted out. She has a crush on the bad guy, her coworker. And she comes to a point in the movie where she decides she's really going to make healthy choices. And she's going to release the weight. She's going to get healthier. She smoked a lot. She drank a lot. So you see the whole video montage playing, music in the background, and she's throwing out her cigarettes, throwing out her empty alcohol bottles. They're empty in the trash can. She's filling up her fridge with nice, clean, healthy food. She's in the gym on the bike, and I literally, with my fork in my fist, hand raised in the air, I went, "Yeah, you go, girl." And I paused, and I thought, well, birthday cake on my lap, stomach feeling not nice because I'm overstuffed. I'm like, well, where's my you go girl moments? Is this going to be the rest of my life? Because at this point in my life, I had been slowly isolating myself from friends and family and social events because I didn't feel comfortable in my skin. I didn't feel comfortable in my body. In fact, I felt like my body was the enemy. Why am I having so many migraines? Why am I feeling sick in my body? Why can't I release the weight? And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Is this going to be the rest of my life? Slowly isolate myself. And it got to the point where friends just pretty much stopped asking me to go to parties or whatnot with them because I knew I'd either say no or at the last second text message, sorry, not feeling well, got a migraine, can't make it. And then I would actually trigger a migraine because the mind is very powerful and I would be sick. So I'm like, well, is this going to be the rest of my life? I'm in my early 30s. Is this going to be the rest of my 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond? I call it my come to Jesus moment because I really was thinking, how did I want the rest of my life to be? See, I was skating along in life. I was like a robot, basically. Like, wake up early, go to work 12 to 14 hours, because if you work in the hospital system, you don't just work a 12-hour shift. We came in 30 minutes prior to shift time to get report and get settled, and we usually stayed 30 minutes to an hour after or longer, depending on how crazy it was, in the ER. Come home, get the cats fed, get my shower, get some dinner, crash. I would sleep maybe 4 to 5 hours, if that. My days off. I'm exhausted. I hardly did anything. So I'm like, is this going to be the rest of my life? I thought, I really don't want to head into this direction. So I did what I really love to do because I'm a science geek at heart. I won the science award in high school for graduation. And so I love science. I'm a science geek at heart. I'm like, if you give me the research, love it. So I literally researched everything I could get my hands on about releasing weight, health, wellness. And although with each program I had been on, I felt like I was the failure. But in retrospect, I realized I felt like that there was a missing component to all the diets and weight loss programs I had been on. I just didn't realize it at the time, which is why I kept going, well, maybe this one will work for me. That one kind of worked, but I gained the weight back. Don't want to do that again. Let me try this one. Maybe this one will be. And I was looking for something that would help me to not only release weight, get fit and healthy, but to maintain that. Because I didn't want to go back to gaining the weight back and feeling, once again, my body's the enemy and I don't feel the best of my body. So I researched and I found there's a whole heck of a lot missing from traditional diets, which don't address your stress, your sleep, your hormones, and hormones which come into play way before perimenopause, menopause. I'm talking about leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, insulin, human growth hormone, all of those hormones that come into play. And then you got your adrenals, it all makes a huge impact. So it's not only how much you're eating, fewer calories. Which, by the way, let's just talk about calories for a hot second. Because I learned that calorie is not just a calorie. Sugar calories work differently on your body than protein, lean protein, healthy fruits and vegetables. Sugar works differently on your body. And so as a sugar addict, I was inflamed. I had blood sugar imbalances, which sugar imbalances is a main driving force for inflammation. Inflammation is the number one driver of disease and weight gain in the body. So, but I knew I didn't want to go on another diet. So I was looking for something a lot healthier. I really was. I'm like, what can I do for this? So when I researched it, I was like, okay, well, I know stress is an issue. Sleep is an issue for me. I know my cortisol is probably jacked up because I was stressed out. In fact, the stress would hit me as I'm pulling in the parking garage to start my shift for work. Can anyone in healthcare relate to that one? Like the stress hits way before you even get onto the units. So I was starting to put into practice everything that I had learned. And so I actually paired up with a health coach who was in alignment with what I had been researching. In fact, when I asked her, so what food are you going to tell me to eat? She goes, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. We're going to discover that out for yourself because your body will let you know. So I did. I found out that my body thrives on more plant-based, still had animal protein, but more plant-based. I'm talking about salads, specifically, like raw vegetables, specifically, loved it. And wild-caught fish, loved it. My body thrived on it. So I worked with her, and I did release some weight. Felt great. Brought my energy back. My migraines were slowly, wasn't having as many frequent migraines. But then the weight came back on again. I'm like, daggone it, this is 2018. So remember I said I've been in this healing work for 20 plus years? So I've helped women in grief, healing work. I've helped women to lead healthy lives, but I was of the adage of eat less, move more. We all knew what to do, just eat less, move more. So I was advocating to eat less, move more. But in my own life, I was seeing that wasn't the answer, but that was what I was taught. Right? Eat less, move more. And I'm going, well, eat less, move more. Okay. And I still hear this to this day, just FYI. But I'm learning that's not the right way. Just eat less, move more. Plus, there's a huge mindset component, which during this time I was kind of making connections with because 2018, I paired up with a health coach. I'd released weight, but I'm gaining weight back again. So about 2019, the reason why I gained the weight back is what I learned. Remember, they were seeing me as organ systems. Remember, migraines were high. I was having palpitations, and I was having kind of dizzy spells. I didn't pass out, but I felt like I would almost pass out. I felt like I was having hypoglycemic episodes, but I really, but I'm like, but it even happened after I ate. Like that makes no sense. So I'm trying to really make these connections. And so once again, I'm researching. I'm like, because at this time, because no one was listening to me, that I'm like, something is out of whack. Why am I having all these health issues? And I'm pretty young. Like, daggone it, I'm in my 40s at this time. Like, what's going on? And they're like, what's genetic? Yeah, I got heart issues on both sides of the family, but once again, cardiologist, my heart's good. EKG looks good. Just got some PACs, premature atrial contractions, which are pretty benign, but I couldn't sleep because I could feel them all night long. So I'm researching, I'm like, what? And I'm literally going, what is going on that I have all these symptoms, but they never happened all at one time. It'd be like, had a dizzy spell. Oh yeah, it happened a couple months ago. I feel like I'm having blood sugar issues. Let me just make sure I'm eating and my blood sugar doesn't drop. And like, so I'm trying to put things into place, but as I'm researching this, and at this time I'm pairing up with a functional medicine provider, found out histamine intolerance. Whoa. Which was, and mold exposure. So in my healing journey from that, I found that there are a lot of foods that I had been eating, like eating even healthy foods. I'm talking spinach, avocado, pineapple, strawberry, and at this time, spinach was the base for my salads. They were causing food intolerances because of the histamine issue, which was causing inflammation on my body, which was causing me to gain that weight and gain more weight. Like it was all coming to play. I had blood sugar instability. Remember I said I felt like I was hypoglycemic. My blood sugar was dropping, but it wasn't. It was the food intolerances which spiked my blood sugar up and then dropped it. So when I felt wonky, feeling like my blood sugar was going less than 70, no, it would be dropped 10 to 20 points within like a short time span, like dropping fast, which made me feel like I was hypoglycemic, but I wasn't. It was just dropping fast from a food intolerance. So once I learned what my food intolerances were and I eliminated them for about a good 18 months, like my healing journey really, really began. So when I talk about dietless dieting, diet by definition just simply means the food that you eat. But we as a society have bastardized that name to mean losing weight. I'm on a diet. Can't eat that. I'm on a diet. But diet, that's why I'm like dietless dieting. Let's not diet. Let's diet less when it comes to weight release and getting healthy. But let's diet with the food choices that we're eating, by the way, which is not just the food choices. It's I believe there are four pillars. Like remember I researched, so I found there's four main pillars. What we eat, the sourcing, organic, food for your body. Do you have any food intolerances? Let's balance blood sugar and let's lower inflammation via the clean food that you were eating. And it's different for everyone. I've worked with so many women that at least one of them, at least all of them have at least one, if not two, food intolerances or more at any given time. Food intolerances does not mean lifelong, by the way, and it's so much different than allergy. Like a peanut allergy, we were familiar with, right? Shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, your airway closes up. You can die if you don't get the epi in. Food intolerances can be very subtle. It was causing migraines. Migraines were getting worse, and part of it was the histamine issue, which was driving these foods to be intolerant for this time. So, and then I found that I was gluten intolerant because I worked with a functional medicine provider. Found out I was gluten intolerant, found out that dairy was inflammatory for me. So when I eliminated those foods, come to eating, I easily lost 5 pounds right away. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think I had that much weight to lose, but okay, that sounds pretty cool. 5 pounds, sounds cool. So I was feeling better in my body because I'm healing. And so eating is one pillar. Then we got to look at your environment. What is your exposure to toxins and chemicals? What are you cleaning with? What are you putting on your body, your shampoo? Because if you look at the list of ingredients, most of them are all toxic to us. How about the air outside? I used to live in South Jersey, which was very close to, we had manufacturing right there in town where I used to live, in a very small town. You blinked if you're in the car and you missed it. That's how small this was, town I was in. And across the Delaware Bay was another, like a couple more plants. Ever so often, you'd smell something in the air and they were releasing it into the air. Who knows how clean the Delaware Bay was when we used to go swimming in it. The things we used to do. You know, going camping back in the 70s and 80s, they would have the insect repellent trucks that would spray so that it would kill all mosquitoes. Well, guess what we did? Truck's coming. You might have done this too. Truck's coming. Yeah, we were so excited. Let's go play in the smog, in the fog. Yeah, well, they were spraying. So, which is why I was not surprised that my toxic burden was so high because of things that get just like the straw that broke the camel's back. And yes, I've been doing cleanses, but it gets built up in our tissues. So, and it makes it difficult to release weight. So I'm finding out histamine intolerance. I'm eliminating my foods that are intolerant at this time, which I'm going to be honest with you, it was a lot of food. It was a lot of food that I chose not to eat because I wanted to no longer have I would have at least 1 or 2 migraines a week. Losing time. Wasn't fun. Vomiting wasn't fun. If you're a migraine sufferer, you know when you throw up, it makes your head hurt so much worse. Ugh. And then I have 2 cats. One cat was very nice. He'd be my Zacchaeus. Like, just, I'm here for you, support, lay next to me. My other cat, Judah, would step on my stomach. I'm like, so my migraines are out of control. Once I started to eliminate that, my migraines, whoa, wow, haven't had a migraine since I started that journey, just FYI, because of histamine intolerance. So I eliminated for 18 months. So we got to get the eating, then we got to get the environment. So we were decreasing our toxic burden, right? Also, it's our stress, it's our sleep, it's our relationships. Are we self-sabotaging? It's anything in your environment, internally, externally, that does impact your body's ability to release weight and for health as well. The third pillar is the hormones. I'd mentioned hormones that hit us way before perimenopause, menopause. My cortisol was jacked up, leptin and ghrelin. Then we got human growth hormone, which I wasn't really capitalizing on because of stress, lack of sleep. I wasn't eating back in my day because all the dieting type food was not good food. Wasn't eating for my body. And then we got this component here, which even as I was working with my functional medicine provider, and I'm a health coach at this time, so I'm working with clients, and I was like, what is going on? Why is the recidivism rate? Why is the regain rate so high? What's going on? And so I was diving once again. I was learning, and I learned that it was this right here in our unconscious. It's also called the subconscious. Unconscious mind drives 90% of our actions. What is our identity? So most programs focus on your actions. You're eating too much sugar, eat less sugar. Are you moving your body? Yeah, you're not moving your body. You move your body. Are you managing your stress properly? Because I've worked in some really good clinics that are really good, functional, holistic. But then I would always see, as soon as their program ended, a lot of them were gaining the weight back and back to poor health. So I'm like, and I was seeing it, in my years of work, I just saw it all around. So I'm like, what is going on? So it's this. So once I got to incorporating this into my own practice, oh my gosh, it's so different. It's so different. The consistency is so much better. We actually reprogram or reconsolidate the neural pathways in the brain. We're basically unlearning what we've been taught and programmed to do. We start listening to the biofeedback that our body is giving us because the body always has the answer. But along the way, we're making reconnections so that we can get out of stuckness and keep going. So you might have been on various programs, or maybe you've been even a very good functional medicine providers, but as soon as everything stops, the program ends, you're going back to those past patterns of behavior, past programming. And it might be like your rubber band's being pulled you back, right? So a lot of what I do in my programs, I have a Beyond the Fork Academy, is we are restructuring this at the same time as we're making these changes. What food works best for your body? What is your personalized, customized eating plan? It's not the same for every woman. Do you have histamine intolerance? If so, let's manage that better. What are your food intolerances? Let's do a little bit of a cleanse. Let's offload some toxins and chemicals so that your body can more easily release the fat from your body. Let's lower your inflammation. Let's balance blood sugar. It's not just for the diabetic or pre-diabetic. Blood sugar regulation and instability drives the inflammation. It's a big driver of inflammation. So let's get that under control. Let's deal with your stress. Let's help you sleep better. How's your relationships? Like, it all comes into play as we're dealing with this right here, the unconscious. I call it super conscious because it can really be super conscious way of us to navigate because it drives 90% of our actions. However, so it stems from that, which causes thoughts, which causes emotions, which drives action. So if you're only focusing on actions and you're not acknowledging the emotions that precede the actions, you're going to you're not going to have consistency. We can basically tap into an emotion, like maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm bored, things like that. But what was the thought before that emotion? We always have a thought before the emotion that precedes the action or inaction. So, but we think so many thoughts at any given time, especially as women, ladies, we think so many thoughts, we can't capitalize, we can't capture it. So it's like bringing more awareness. But what precedes it all is our subconscious, our unconscious mind, our superconscious, and our identity. So for me, I had the identity of a binge eater. And even when I said I am a reformed binge eater, that I am statement's very, very powerful, which is why prior to 2018, I would go back to binge eating, which is why I gained that weight back that I had lost in 2013. That's why I gained that back, because I went back to binge eating, not nearly to the extent that I had been prior, but it was still made a big impact on my health and my weight. So once I made that connection with the mindset, I'm like, it was so freeing, so powerful. I know for my own life and in the lives of my clients, because this is things that you are not taught, that is not well known unless you work with someone who really knows what's going on here. And the brain is a very, very powerful thing. Very, very powerful. So my podcast, I'm going to be sharing with you and with guest speakers as well on tips to, how to not only release weight, get fit and healthy, but how do we maintain that? How do we keep the consistency? Maybe like me, you're looking at, because I did shakes and I did all this other stuff, you're looking at this going, am I going to have to do 3 shakes a day, 2 shakes a day, whatever it was back in the day, for the rest of my life? What if I want to have something else to eat? Very confined, very restricting way of eating. So, Dietless Dieting podcast, episode number 1. I'm your host and the creator, Pamela Pedrick, helping you to ditch the yo-yo dieting and the weight regain with holistic strategies and systems designed for your unique body so that you can put your body to be a fat burning machine so that you can be fit, healthy, light, and free, and no longer be in bondage to the food or the diet, so that you can live a life of freedom and ease and live the life of your dreams, because it is definitely possible. Don't forget to click the link in the description for a free gift from me to you. And let me know, what do you think about this podcast? Let me know what you think about the name. I'm curious. So all things holistic, all things health, weight release, because if we can manage the health, we can definitely release the weight. If we can balance blood sugar, we can definitely lower inflammation and weight as well. If we can manage stress, we can definitely release weight. Like, it all comes into play. But how do we manage it all? Because this will get in your way. You might have heard about all that, go, oh, I got to manage all of that. Resistance. Your unconscious mind is already thrown resistance. Why? It's because we've had past programs of behavior where we've done a sugar detox or a diet and we've easily released 5 to 10 pounds. But then you don't keep it off. So I'm not about quick fixes. I'm about permanent results for you and your life. All right, so stay tuned for the next episode. I've got some amazing guests lined up for you all, near and dear to my heart, and I love chatting with them as well. They've actually been guests on past summits and my past live events. I am Pamela Pedrick. I am a registered nurse. I have my master's in counseling, and I am your dietless dieting coach, teaching you how to release that excess unhealthy weight, get fit, light, and free. We'll see you next time.